policy, Iraq. You don't actually believe that troops will ultimately come out of Iraq, do you?
Oh, no, I don't. We'll change their names. I mean, we're going to have, they've already admitted there'll be 15,000, but, you know, they've morphed the private sector with the military. The CIA and contractors, it's a mixture. But there's going to be 15,000 in the armed camp, you know, the fortress, the embassy, the biggest embassy in the world. Al-Sadr, who is the champion of national sovereignty for Iraq, he says that is still occupation, and occupation is the key word for why we should look out. There's a civil war going on in northern Iraq. The Turks have already put troops into Iraq. Turks are now allying with the Iranians because there's civil strife up there. That is a consequence. The Christians have been run out of Iraq, and ironically, there were no Al-Qaeda in Iraq. They're there now. So there's nothing but chaos. We are going to have a military presence there, undoubtedly.
Under President Paul, Osama bin Laden would likely still be alive, so would Muammar Gaddafi.
No, I think that's wrong.
You would have ordered the kill on bin Laden?
I voted for it. I voted for the authority, but I thought shortly thereafter, they didn't go after him. We had him trapped at Tora Bora, and we should have had him there. We shouldn't have gone in the nation building. We dropped the ball. We went in and started a war in Iraq.
But you supported the effort then to get him?
Oh, absolutely. I voted for it, but it should have been done, you know, in 3 months or 2 months. But also, when it started lingering, I argued against occupation, against the war, and I reintroduced the notion of a letter of marque and reprisal and targeting one individual rather than saying we're going to declare war against the world. And now we're in all these countries, and it's an endless fight, and there's no end in sight.
You actually, in October at the Press Club, described our foreign policy this way. I'll show it for you.
We have crossed that barrier from republic to dictatorship, to tyranny, to empire.
To empire. If you look at what happened in Libya, do you believe that the United States has a moral responsibility to deal with humanitarian crisis anywhere in the world?
No, only voluntarily. We don't have authority in the Constitution to get involved in internal affairs or getting involved in entangling alliances. The Constitution doesn't give the authority. They get us into more trouble. They undermine our national defense, and they cause a lot of trouble. If you want to do it voluntarily and get involved, you can volunteer and go over there and don't send your money. But I don't, as a president, have the authority to go. If our national security is threatened, then you do it properly. This president now has gone in there on his own. He has flaunted the responsibility to go to the Congress. He doesn't get permission. And we went over, that wouldn't have happened without our money and our drones and our missiles and all, and it happened. So we're responsible for the chaos.
Do you think the drone war that this administration is waging is illegal?
Yes, it is. It's illegal under international law, and there's no authority in our Constitution that we can just willy-nilly drop bombs on anybody that we want. We kill innocent people this way. Why do you think people hate us? Because there's so much collateral damage. You see, oh, this is a bad guy. We'll drop a bomb on him and kill him. Well, we might hit him, we might miss him, we might hit another car, and then you kill 10 other people. What would we do if they did that to us, David? We would be a little upset if China did that to us, wouldn't we?
You said in 2000 that the prospect of Iran attacking Israel was like the prospect that it would invade Mars.
Well, I didn't use those words, but essentially that might be
right. No, you actually did. I looked at the transcript. Yeah.
Okay.
And the reality is that the biggest existential threat that Israel faces is from Iran. If Iran attacked Israel, would the United States under President Paul intervene?
They wouldn't need to. Israel has 300 nuclear weapons and missiles. The odds are so remote. Iran can't even make enough gasoline for themselves. They have to import gasoline. So they don't have intercontinental ballistic missiles. They don't have a nuclear weapon. There's a big discussion going on how far along they are. And I was in the service and lived through the 60s. The Soviets had 30,000 of them, and they were going to bury us. And we survived that. So for us to plan to go to war against Iran under these conditions scares a lot of Americans. It certainly scares the young people of the world, the people I talk to, because they're going to bear this burden financially, and also they may be required to fight these wars that are unnecessary and unconstitutional.